Dion in the morning time. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Joy to the world. The Lord has come. That's the song. That's the song that's been sung this morning. It's the second day of the month of December. We are inching closer, 23 days and 23 days in counting before Christmas indeed. Good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning. It's a wonderful, a terrific Thursday morning. I'm alive, you're alive, we are here, we're in the land of the living, and we are giving God thanks and praise. This doesn't matter where you're from, those of you here at home, across the region, and in other parts of the diaspora. Welcome to the best experience that you can have during the day to be part of Classic in the Morning Time. I'm Joseph Cador, and I'm here to keep you company for the next couple of hours. A literary device, and the word for today is alliteration. Alliteration, which is a literary device, and it is the use of words that begin with the same sound near one another, as in the wild and woolly or the babbling or a babbling croak. So alliteration, and it is spelled, and it is a noun, and it is spelled A-L-L-I-T E-R-A-T-I-O-N. Alliteration. A-L-L-I-T-E-R-A-T-I-O-N. So let me just give you some examples of alliteration, so at least it kind of makes sense to you, right, Mike? So we are going to do this. So the use of alliterations. So we talk about the use of the consonants which comes in close successions in a sentence or so. So, for example, Claire, close your cluttered closet. Claire, close your cluttered closet. So the consonants that's coming in quick succession is that of C. Claire, seeing, close, seeing cluttered, and seeing closet. The big bad bear bored the baby bunnies by the bushes. Shut the shutters before the shouting makes you shudder. Go and gather the green leaves on the grass. Please put away your paint and practice the piano. So, what's the consonants? Is the P. Go and gather the green leaves on the grass. That's the G. They come in quick succession, and that's for you, the literature students, the English students, as it is. You've learned. We've given you an example of a literary device, and as we go through the month of December, we're going to continue to do that, giving you literary devices. But today, we focus on alliteration, which is a noun, and it is spelled A-L-L-I-T-E-R-A-T-I-O-N, alliteration, and it is a noun. Let me give you some examples of that. We don't just give you a word of the day, we also give you a thought. I share with you a thought of the day on a daily basis. And today I encourage you, at this very moment in time, that you should watch your thoughts. They become words. Watch your words. They become actions. Watch your actions. They become habits. Watch your habits. They become character. And watch your character. It becomes your destiny. Watch your thoughts, they become your words. Your words become your actions. Your actions, they become your habits. Your habits, they become your character. And your character, at the end of the day, becomes your destiny, because it is what defines who you are as an individual. It's not necessarily what they say about you, but your character defines that inner you. That's what creates your destiny. And that's what people think. That's not what they think. That's okay. But your character is what determines exactly where you end up from here. A thought for the day as you go through the day. I want to remind you this morning that sometimes you have to eat your words, chew your ego, swallow your pride, and accept that you are wrong. It's not called giving up. It's called growing up. Yes, in case you're wondering, sometimes in life, Grenada, you have to eat your words. Yeah, holidays coming, eat your words. Chew your ego, swallow your pride, and accept that you are wrong. It's not giving up. It's called growing up. And today, it's an opportunity to start or continue in that developmental process. You will have nothing to lose, do you? Not a thing you have to lose. Well, while we are growing up and keeping track of things, let's look at the COVID-19 dashboard.
Yesterday, we had one new confirmed case, taking our active caseload to 74. We've had no new recoveries, no deaths, and this is really, really quite astounding. And this is what I look forward to every day when I get the dashboard, that the death column has remained unchanged, I think, for almost nearly more than 3 weeks. I don't necessarily want to exaggerate it, but definitely more than 3 weeks. We've been at 200 too much if you ask me. We spiraled out of control at one time, but we've got this thing where we need it to be, and we want to encourage folks to continue to play your part. This has nothing to do with what you believe in, vax or not vax. Just play your part, sanitize, wear your mask, the social distancing protocols. Just do what you have to do to keep safe. That's all that is needed. So we have 74 active cases, and we're going to continue to monitor them and make sure that we keep the numbers at a low. What's there to lose? Nothing at all. Right? As you did say, your COVID-19 prevention tips. How do you protect yourself and others? Wash your hands often. Cover your cough and your coughs and your sneezes. Avoid close contacts. Wear your mask. Clean. Disinfect. Just do that on a daily basis. And certainly, at the end of the day, you are encouraged to get vaccinated to help stop the spread. But ultimately, because remember, even if you are vaccinated, there's some things you need to do as well. Because even vaccinated individuals, they can carry the virus. They have even greater viral load. So you have to collectively, this is not a task for the unvaccinated. Do what you have to do. 16 minutes in the morning time. The morning edition comes up next right here and on Classic. By the way of information, it is Thursday, and today we do Talk the Things Thursday. That's when we return on the other side of the clock, where we look at your thoughts on the budget presentation. A lot being discussed. The discussion, debate in the lower house was wrapped up yesterday. Quite stirring deliveries over the last couple of days from the finance minister, the other ministers, and the opposition leader. But what's contained therein? What are you happy with? Anything to smile about? We'll have that conversation from around 7:15 on Talk to Things Thursday. Beyond onto the point, we have a nutritionist from the inside of the Food and Nutrition Council talking about good healthy eating practice during COVID, keeping ourselves and our children safe. The morning edition of radio comes up next. On television, you get a rebroadcast of the top stories from last evening. Classic in the morning time, Classic 105.5 and 105.9 on the FM band.
Story tonight. The Mitchell versus Mitchell election battle has seemingly begun in earnest and has already taken on a different front. This as Prime Minister Dr. Keith Mitchell took hidden jabs at political leader of the National Democratic Congress, Deacon Mitchell, during the budget debate on Wednesday. Gerard Joseph has this report.
Prime Minister Dr. Keith Mitchell has seemingly accused Deacon Mitchell of not understanding or realizing the consequences his legal representation has had in exacerbating social and other issues within the country. No name calling, however, using strong connotations, the Prime Minister hinted to the NDC political leaders' involvement in the repurchase of Grenada shares by government from WRB.
And even when the government has to pay 60-something $5+ million for WRB, we must pass it through you. And you know the fees related to that, Mr. Speaker. You know the amount of money. We should give back this money to the people of Grenada, Carriacou, and Petite Martinique. You should take fees from the suffering of the people of this land.
Dr. Mitchell was defending the extra salaries for frontline and public workers, which the finance minister announced in the budget presentation, and termed tokenism.
You know, Mr. Speaker, this so-called pocket change and tokenism is saving a lot of hungry mouths outside there who needs our support.
The Prime Minister insinuated to NDC's leader belonging to the Ivy League, which makes him incapable of truly understanding the plights of the people.
This government is not about benefiting the few, about keeping up appearances nice media sessions and talking nice. Nice English boy, yes. Let's not about that, Mr. Speaker.
Prime Minister Mitchell also intimately berated Deacon Mitchell on his lack of knowledge on the breakdown of Grenada's fees, while dubbing the National Democratic Congress as a pandemic.
We had no pandemic. The only pandemic was the NDC itself.
He alluded that the attorney at law in his representation of WRB fought against government's initiative via the Public Utilities Regulatory Commission to reduce the non-fuel charge.
The same lawyer, the tokenism lawyer, Mr. Speaker, he went to court and fought against the people of this country, Mr. Speaker, on behalf of WRB to keep the non-fuel charge as it is. Quite astounding. You live here, man. You see the pain and the sufferings of the ordinary folks. Have a conscience.
The Prime Minister had this message for the electorate: vote for someone who has a history of love for the people.
If they have 44 years plus, and you have never heard about them, never intervening in a crisis and a pandemic, you're never there to offer a little piece of bread, Mr. Speaker. All of a sudden, you love people because you want a title.
GBM reached out to Deacon Mitchell through the Public Relations Officer for the NDC, Orlando Romaine, and was told that all these issues will be addressed in the party's press conference scheduled for Thursday. I am Gerard Joseph for GBN News.
Meanwhile, Prime Minister Mitchell has likened the statement of Leader of the Opposition, Tobias Clement, to waive VAT on other items as one made by an individual without responsibility. Taking credit for the reintroduction of Mr. Clement into politics, Dr. Mitchell shunned the behavior of the opposition leader in Parliament. The Prime Minister also seemingly cautioned the Leader of the Opposition of his limited days in office. Here's Gerard Joseph once again.
Understanding the economic and financial side of government is key, says Prime Minister Dr. Keith Mitchell, while hinting at the possibilities of a snap general election. Dr. Mitchell says the country must generate revenue in order to pay the monthly wage bill, plus salary increases, as in the case of what was fought for. While reminiscing on the events surrounding the industrial action taken during the year, the Prime Minister notes that government cannot waive VAT randomly.
The same people turn around and condemn the government. And the Leader of the Opposition would love this because clearly for the little time I think he has left in that position. Because you don't know when I ring the bell. I have a bell right in my pocket. You never know. I heard you said change is coming. Change is really coming, Leader of the Opposition.
Prime Minister Mitchell adopting the title of Grandpa, similarly dubbed Tobias Clement as one of his delinquent students.
Speaker, not all my students have behaved themselves accordingly. Not all. And I assure you, as a former teacher, you're proud of most, but not proud of all. And that's life, Mr. Speaker.
Clement resigned from the New National Party in November 2019, citing a misunderstanding between himself and the party as it relates to constituency-related matters. In his contribution to the 2020 budget, he noted that the status quo must change.
Martin Luther King says to the member for St. George Northwest, you would not remember the words of your enemies. No, you would not remember that. You wouldn't remember my words, you know. You know what you would remember? You would remember the silence of your friends. That when it's time for you guys to speak, you did not speak. That is what Martin Luther King said. This is why we were elected in this house, you know.
Grenada's general election is constitutionally due in 2023. I am Gerard Joseph for GBN News.
A plan has been submitted before Cabinet for the upgrading of the Ministry of Labour. Labour Minister Peter David, while making his contribution to the budget discussion on Tuesday, says the plan has been already approved in principle as the ministry fine-tunes the details with the Department of Public Administration. Once finalized, some of the disputes to be resolved will no longer be in the hands of the minister.
Speaks to staffing,
It speaks to strengthening tripartism. It speaks to improving the trade dispute resolution, because one of the issues we have is a mechanism that takes it out of the hands of the minister to resolve some of these disputes, because it is a difficult proposition. So we are going to make a proposal. It may not go as far as Trinidad has with respect to an industrial court, but certainly we need to find a way to upgrade that service so that grievance handling becomes much more effective. It is one that we've received complaints on, and one that we made a proposal to the government to resolve.
The Labour Minister says they are seeking to reinvigorate the Labour Advisory Board, which is critical to addressing labour issues between employer and employees' relations and industrial disputes.
We are completing the Employment and Labour Relations Acts, that is a review and update of the Employment and Labour Relations Acts. We are also working on the proposal, a draft Occupational Health and Safety Act, that is also in the works. And more focus on improving relations between employers and the trade unions.
In other news, trade unionists or industry leaders are sitting up and taking notes. They have embraced a slew of relief measures announced in the 2022 budget, which are targeted at public servants and consumers. They are also pondering the possibility that the government's move is one on a political chessboard that recently added a new player. Cherian Blackman-Stephen reports.
For months on end, workers marched in the streets, clamoring for a 4% increase in salaries, which was agreed to, but which the government insisted that it was unable to pay because of a narrow fiscal space made tighter by COVID-19. Early in the game, the administration refused to provide timelines for the payment, saying it did not want to commit to a date, and then failed to pay because of an inability to do so. Teachers were among the most militant, and with the advent of a new school year looming, the government relented and announced that it would be making the payments in August. Pots, pans, horns, fireworks. Some of the instruments used to ring in praises in honor of frontline workers who bore the brunt of the COVID-19 onslaught. Trade unionists then argued, if the government so appreciated their work, then don't just pay lip service. Show that it cares by regularizing those on contracts and granting them proper wages so that they don't leave Grenada for more lucrative jobs overseas.
As we sit here to extend the state of emergencies, as we sit here and we give praises to them, to the walls of Parliament, they are not seeing these recognitions in their paycheck and in their working conditions. One of the better ways of recognizing the contribution is to ensure that they all receive, those who are not permanent be made permanent, because it impacts the delivery.
It was apparent to some that the government was paying the trade unionists no mind until now. Well, until last Friday's budget was presented.
To announce that all frontline public sector workers, defined as all officers of the Royal Grenada Police Force, along with medical personnel and ancillary workers in the Ministry of Health, who physically performed and continue to perform, and by virtue of their duties or exposed to the risk of COVID-19, will receive an additional month's pay during the month of December.
President of the Public Workers Union, Brian Grimes, thinks the government has finally started to listen.
I think there are a number of reasons that the government had what we would call a generous budget. I spoke to the absolute need that they must have done it. I think the hyperactivity of the trade unions in this period contributed to it. Also, the workers speaking out, because government had a lot of consultations with workers, health sector workers, police officers, and they spoke to the suffering, the economic suffering, and other things. So I think that contributed.
But how much of the listening and response has been brought about by recent developments on the political landscape.
But certainly, the political landscape, how it has transformed in recent times, have provided, I think, some sort of motivation for the incumbent government. In that, in any field, competition is necessary. We see what the president of Digicel did with cable and wireless, what it did for the consumers. The same is said with politics and with our citizens. When there is balance in the political playing field in our democracy, our citizens benefit. So I think the emergence of new leadership within the National Democratic Congress has sort of piqued the interest of the incumbent government and put them on their toes because they may have been a bit lackadaisical.
Economist Michael Motley assessed the 2022 budget during GBN's Beyond the Headlines program Monday night. He says the timing of moves taken by politicians will always be questioned, and whereas governments need to respond, political parties also need to think about winning elections.
So the challenge is always going to be striking the balance between a level of fairness as well as being able to manage and govern in such a way, but at the same time, a politician really needs to get reelected. So that is always going to be a part of the equation.
Cherry and Blackman Stephen, GBN News.
Police say they were left with no choice but to use force to subdue an alleged mentally challenged man. Chrislina John has the details in this report.
Police have had to use force to avoid what might have become a bigger tragedy on Tuesday. According to information reaching GBN's news desk, a young man from the village of Vendom St. George was seen brandishing a cutlass through the village, terrifying residents. According to a source, sometime Tuesday afternoon, the man attempted to inflict a wound on an individual. Police were called in and had to resort to using force to disarm him.
The police was called and responded and used the necessary force to be able to bring the situation under control. And when you have, if somebody, for instance, is mentally challenged, it's important that you have to take control of the situation very quickly. It is one of those situations where you have to initiate quick action. Notwithstanding, you have to be guided by the law and, of course, the use of force policy in terms of the continuum of force. Yes, we have, he had a weapon in his possession.
Okay. That was ASP Trevor Rodney, head of the Community Relations Department. The alleged mentally ill man was taken to the General Hospital for medical attention and later a psychological evaluation. ASP Rodney explained what the law states in cases like these in accordance to Police Act, Chapter 244, Volume 6 of the Continuous Revised Law of Grenada.
It shall be the duty of the force to take lawful measures for A, preserving the public peace, B, preventing and detecting crimes and other infractions of the law, and C, apprehending and causing to be apprehended persons who shall have committed or shall be charged with or suspected of having committed or having abetted the commission of or being about to commit any crime or offense. So that is established in law that the police has a responsibility for law enforcement in terms of protecting the rights of its citizens against any infraction of the law.
Additionally, the RGPF is not treating lightly the use of threatening language. Citizens are hereby reminded that according to Section 133 of the Criminal Code, it is an offense to make use of any threatening language. The officer warns citizens to be responsible with their conduct and language and respect each other's freedom. For those who the ASP is advising them to avoid taking matters into their own hands. Instead, make a formal complaint to the police.
Threatening language, it may just look as just mere words, but it results, and we have had evidence where it resulted in injuries being actually inflicted after people have been threatened. And it's important that persons realize that it is an offense under the law, where you can be arrested and of course, brought to court, and certain measures you can feel the effects of certain measures as it relates to both fine, confinement, and both fine and confinement.
Chrislina John, GBN News.
Finance Minister Gregory Bowen says they are seeking an extension to the state of the country's population and housing census. He said they called for applications for enumerators to work for a period of 3 to 6 months, and the response was overwhelming. He said a meeting was held with the Ministry of Health to determine the risk factor due to COVID-19 and was told the risk is significant, suggesting that all those selected must be vaccinated for the COVID virus. Minister Bowen said that result thereafter was surprising.
We called for people to come in to work for a period of time, maybe 3 months up to 6 months. A lot of applications. We met with the Ministry of Health during this COVID time, and we asked, what is the risk of our workers going out there, unknowing to them, contracting the virus, and then going to every home? And then they say that risk is significant. Health says you must ensure that the people going out to do the census are vaccinated. So, Speaker, the number fell from 340 to under 180.
The minister says they are now exploring options on how they can move the census to a later date.
So we'll be meeting with the management staff in the Ministry of Finance to see whether or not, at the Ministry of Health, whether or not we cannot ask the World Bank, the CDB, and the other persons who are assisting us to do the census, if we can delay it to a time when it is safer. Yes, we're out of the spike. Are we out of the woods? We want to be sure when people come and knock on your door from the Ministry of Finance, we don't want you staying out there with a spoon and telling them an answer way on the outside. That can't work.
In other news, government, in partnership with St. George's University and other governments organization on Tuesday, awarded 77 students with scholarships to pursue further education both locally and abroad. Chrislina John has this story.
77 Grenadians were awarded scholarships to pursue studies locally and internationally. A virtual ceremony was held on Tuesday to present those awards. 35 students were awarded undergraduate scholarships for study in the field of arts and science at St. George's University. There were also 16 SU graduate awards in the field of clinical community psychology, education, international business, multi-sector health management, and public health. Scholarship awarded for study at St. George's University came at an estimated cost of $10,036,795. The People's Republic of China awarded 7 undergraduate scholarships in the areas of fine arts, engineering in the fields of architecture, geometrics, engineering and energy, and power engineering and rehabilitation. 2 awards were also presented for medical specialization in the field of internal medicine. All scholarships for the People's Republic of China are valued at EC $2,067,450.75. His Excellency Ambassador Wei Hongtian said the Chinese government scholarship program will continue to offer 15 full scholarships to Grenadian students in 2022. There were also 12 economic cost bursary awards in the sum of EC $191,977 presented to students pursuing studies at the University of the West Indies in the field of accounting, biochemistry, chemistry, civil with environmental engineering, diagnostic imaging, exercise, sports science, literature in English, mathematics, political science, psychology, and sociology. 3 students were awarded undergraduate scholarships valued at EC $689,150.25 to pursue studies in Romania in the areas of economics and international affairs, psychology, and informatics. Additionally, the Organization of American States presented 2 scholarships valued at EC $108,102 in the areas of welding and fabrication and hospitality management. Christelina John, GBN News.
Do I need to wear a mask and avoid close contact with others if I am fully vaccinated?
Thank you, and this is a very important question. The vaccines that we have against COVID-19 are very effective vaccines, and it gives a really good chance of not developing the disease. We must note that there is no vaccine that provides 100% protection for any disease. With that being said, we do expect cases of disease among people who are fully vaccinated. Though this is rare, it can happen, and we call this breakthrough infections. This is not unique to COVID-19. This doesn't mean that the vaccines aren't working. It means that not everyone who receives vaccines has 100% protection, and as a result, vaccinated persons, if they become infected, are capable of transmitting the virus to others. For these reasons, vaccinated persons must continue to practice the prevention measures like mask wearing and avoiding close contact or crowded places. So to answer your question, yes, you need to wear a mask and avoid close contact with others even if you are fully vaccinated.
Are you looking for quality herbs and herbal supplements, or are you thinking about having a complete body cleanse to jumpstart your health? Then no need to look further. Visit Nirvana Natural Health Clinic, Detox Center, and Natural Health Store. We carry a wide range of herbal products for kidney and gallstone cleansing, male sexual enhancement formulas, asthma and sinusitis, gas and bloating, acid reflux, constipation, arthritis, imbalanced hormones, female health issues, liver cleansing, weight loss, and so much more. Also available, colonic irrigation, holistic health consultations, essential oils, and diffusers. Look out for our online natural health store coming soon. Call 231-6642 418-7115 or 449-7753 to find out about our delivery options or to book an appointment. Visit us at Belmont St. George's, close to the Foliage, Monday to Saturday, 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. Nirvana Natural Health Clinic. Detox your way to health.
It's the season to give, and Grenlec invites you to give a gift of love and light to someone in our community who has been challenged by COVID-19. Make your account current and nominate someone for a chance to win. 200 winners will be gifted with a $400 grocery voucher or a $75 electricity voucher. If we select your entry, you too will win. Visit our website or Facebook page for more information. Terms and conditions apply. Promotion runs November 24th to December 24th. Give a gift from Grenlec this holiday.
When a loved one passes on, we all need the comfort, support, and guidance of a trusted friend. You can rely on LaCour Brothers Funeral Home. We provide a personalized professional service that exceeds all expectations. Our dedicated staff responds to your every need with the greatest detail, ensuring affordability with a variety of options. Our upgraded state-of-the-art facilities, spacious air-conditioned chapel with live internet streaming, a modern, environmentally safe crematorium, the only of its kind on island, private viewing spaces, large on-site repast center, a modern transportation fleet. Join our burial society today and make personalized arrangements for that final moment. As you prepare to enter your loved one into eternal rest, visit or call LaCour Brothers Funeral Home and select a package that brings added comfort to the entire family. LaCour Brothers Funeral Home and Burial Society, continuing a tradition of excellence.
Physical violence, threats, controlling behavior, and being disrespectful are no-nos in any relationship. Parenting together after a breakup can be difficult, but always speak and behave in ways you would want your children. You cannot control what your ex-partner does, but you can control how you choose to respond to your ex and what behaviors you display to your children. Parents, display behaviors you will want your children to learn. A respectful child begins with you. Step up your parenting game. My family matters.
Level of convenience and comfort awaits you when you shop at Rise and Shine Supermarket and Hardware Supplies, Griffin Lane, Grenville. Convenient, because we are open Sunday to Sunday. We're even at your service on public holidays. Comfort, because we are easily accessible to the physically challenged. Free Wi-Fi is available while you shop, and bags come at no charge. Everyday low prices and excellent customer care. Adequate parking available. We supply everything you can possibly think of. Family and home supplies, fresh meat, vegetables, and personal care products. All brands of cooking gas at affordable prices. You can send in your order, have it pulled, or pick up express.
Welcome to Voyager, your favorite home goods store. Visit us today at our upstairs branch for the best variety in curtains, bedside lamps, Christmas decor, throw pillows, blankets, bathroom sets, and so much more. Downstairs you'll find all your home good items at the best prices. We hope to see you soon.
Prayers go out to the people of St. Vincent, to the families, their friends, and all their loved ones. It's a tragedy, holding head, saying why this thing had to be. I sat like this, man, I just can't believe all the pain, cause I know it's gonna be hard to breathe. But honestly, they need some help through this trying time. We need to show them love, so just get in line. Seeing the news breaks my heart every single time. We all need to pray for peace in their hearts and minds. I see the pain and I know you see it too. So it's time to reunite, that's what I'm telling you. They ain't fighting it alone, cause we'll be fighting too. We all know you stand with us, so we will stand with you. For all the families that are suffering from frustration, rivers of mud filled with ash, so no hydration. We really need to ask ourselves this one question: what would we really do if it was our nation? St. Vincent, we are here, arms wide open, our hearts wide open. St. Vincent, we are here, arms wide open, our hearts wide open. We are one, 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 we are one. We got a lot of prayers going up for you. Cannot even imagine what you're going through. I know it's a little harder just to see the view. I see the silver linings when I look at you. And even though the sky's not looking blue, we're reaching out our hands to see you through. So can you hear me? Can you hear me? St. Vincent, we are here, arms wide open, our hearts wide open. St. Vincent, we are here, arms wide open, our hearts wide open. We are one, 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 we are one.
paradise where everything is nice. Girl, you represent that life with your lush, glorious vibes. And every time I look at you, I see why the world wants to come to you. Cause I've green rich vegetation in every parish of the nation, with nutmeg, banana and cocoa. In everywhere I go, breadfruits and callaloo too. That's very good for me and you. She has so much variety, yeah. She could cook plenty potlucks for people to eat. Girl, you are my Grenadian smiling beauty, yeah. Girl, you are my Grenadian smiling beauty, yeah. Waking up with you in the morning, I feel so refreshing. With the blessing to see the sun rising and to hear the birds them singing. It's such an honor to call you my Grenadian girl, cause you have so much unseen talents to offer each corner of this world, like the sound of steel pan beating. Whoa, 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 and the sweet song of groovy and calypso music. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Not forgetting the skanking beat, yeah, of reggae music, yeah, yeah. Girl, you are my Grenadian smiling beauty.
Some, depending on which side of the fence you are, some say it's a circus, others says it's the best thing that has happened since the turn of the 21st century. What say you in the morning time? We give you an opportunity to chime in, and while we're at it, we want to say good morning to those of you that's joining us from across the different platforms. That's on Facebook. Kipling Francis, Cynthia, Renisha Griffith. Good morning to you wonderful people out there, wherever you are. It's indeed a pleasure. Those of you here at home across the region, other parts of the diaspora, a wonderful, wonderful good morning to you. Wishing you all the best, and we're happy that you've chosen. You're waking up with Classic and GBN in the morning time. The number on the inside, 425-2041. The budget presentation as it what was, and certainly there's been a lot of conversation. There's been a lot of conversation regarding the budget. There's been a number of projects, and there's always going to be the political bantering that you will find, and there's nothing new about that. I certainly want to hear from you, the general public, your thoughts on the budget. There were pronouncements regarding the reduction measures by the government to address the increasing price of spiraling costs, electricity costs. We're looking at Kipling. Kipling says, where is Kipling? Listening. Okay, so listening to the talk show in Grenada, I must say with certainty that GBN stands out, the only place you can learn something worthwhile. Good morning to you, Kipling. And we're always happy when you have folks out there in the diaspora that they chime in, because we understand and appreciate the value and virtue of who we are as a brand. But what say you? What's on your mind regarding the budget? There's been an additional 5 items that's been added to the rated in terms of the VAT. So we've always had that basket of items, flour, sugar, and all of those stuff. 5 more new items has been added to the basket, so all to offer a means of relief to those that are economically challenged. Saltfish has been added to it. So too has been the peas, turkey, oil, cheese. Additional 5. Is that enough, or do you need more? There's also been a promise to provide some form of financial remuneration for those frontline workers, literally, and I was out there during the COVID-19 pandemic. In the heat of it, that is, there was the Prime Minister did promise that, and certainly we heard from the budget that, from all indications, that is going to come to fruition. We go directly to the telephone lines. Classic, good morning, you're live.
Good morning. How you do?
I am wonderful, thank you.
Joseph, you're looking well.
I am well. I feel well.
That's good, Joe. Listen, Uncle Joe.
Tell me.
I gotta tell you this. I'm asking, where is this money coming from in a pandemic? I could be wrong because I don't know exactly how those things work. And in such a short space of time, just a couple months ago, we could not have paid our teachers. And in the lockdown, that the minister for education, she says how much money and how much help was given to the parents and the children that was at home. But Joe, when school, the children that is going to school, some of them only get a lunch, something in school. When the school was closed, these children suffered. And as far as I know, the NIS was giving some form of money to those who qualify in certain areas. So there was a lot of beyond poverty going on, and there was no money to help these children. Now, and these monies come by so quick, I don't know. But on the other hand, we haven't heard the Minister of Education speak about the school in, the name of the school. And they was doing some work or something now. The name slipped me of that school. And again, they haven't, the Minister of Education did mention that the tablets that they give the children, they are no good. And then, I know the time up already, but listen, Uncle Joe, I go tell you something. I feel that the Prime Minister is afraid the way he's speaking. I find he's afraid of Deacon Mitchell. He's campaigning yesterday, and to me, the way he's speaking, he sounds as if he's afraid of Deacon Mitchell. Bye.
Well, in the interesting analysis, I guess only time will tell, huh? All the best to you. You take care. 425-2041, that's the number on the inside. I tell you, politics is there's a craft of politics, and sometimes things are not often what it seems to the naked eye. Classic, good morning, you're live.
Yes, good morning, Mr. Cado. Greetings.
Greetings to you, sir.
Seeking a little help here. Now, I must indeed admit that I wasn't very good at mathematics in the early stage and so on, although it was after school I had to go back and learn, do over a lot of things so I can get along my life.
Okay.
But there's some basic things in maths which you were taught. One of them is percentages. You remember that?
Yes.
Hear me. I heard from time to time on this radio station, and I heard it again through the delivery of the budget speech, that Grenada moved 12 percentage points on the unemployment scale when 13,000 jobs were replaced after the pandemic, after the serious component of it. And that bothers me. I calculate that it is highly improbable, because the population of Grenada is about 110,000. At least that was the last number of 2011. I'd like you to see if you can work that out for yourself for me, or with the assistance of any good mathematician, to see if that is really true. I wonder if you get my story. Did you hear the minister say, the so-called minister say, that after the rise in unemployment to 28% from 15%, it has now returned to 28, yes?
Right.
Where 13,000 jobs were involved. It bothers me to understand that based on my calculation of percentages. I don't want to tell you what I calculated, although I did in previous times.
Okay.
But I'd like to get a mathematician to give me an idea. What is the size of the workforce in Grenada?
And certainly I've just taken due note of that, and maybe
I leave that task with you. Have a nice day.
Thank you, sir. All the best to you. It is 29 minutes gone past the hour in the morning time. Is the sound of Classic 105.5 and 105.9. We continue. Let's look at what's happening out there. Annette Ragbison says that's not a handshake given to frontline workers. It's some overtime. It's some overtime pay due and owed to them. Remember, they work 24 hours a day when they should be working 8-hour shifts. So that's just their overtime. And please calculate all their overtime and pay them the balance. Interesting there. We continue to say Alistair Warwood on WhatsApp says they cried out and they couldn't pay the 4%, but after they paid some of the workers, they gave the ministers 4% also. So who is fooling who? 435-2041. We go back to the telephone lines. Talk the thing Thursday. Good morning, caller.
Oh yes, good morning, Joe.
Good morning to you.
Have a great day.
Thank you.
Now, I am becoming worried not because election is close by, but my prediction over the years with respect to the direction of this country for quite a number of years. I am very, very worried for the young people, and I'm worried for all of us at any time. But I found something very disturbing. The NIS pensioners, some of them are receiving as low as $100 a month to $300 a month. But you have people in the public assistance, that is those that is retired by the politicians, now will be getting an extra $150 on top of what they was getting, so it might be between $400 and $500. The same category of people, retired senior in the government and retired senior on the government side. I find that it's very, very disrespectful that you have the people in the pensioners who have made the contribution and are getting based on the criteria set then when wages was low. You still have them at $100, but you have those that you're giving the pension. And I am the person who did this. I am the person who created that pension for daily paid. So nobody tells me anything different. You know, it's very unfair, and I will want the government to consider if NIS doesn't have the money and you're subventing other organizations, subvent the NIS to recognize these people and to bring them up to that $400 or even $500. I want them to consider that, sir.
Great. And I think that is only but reasonable that whatever policies that should be guided not by what standings what's in the books tell in the past, but certainly it has to be in line with what's our current economic disposition. Classic, good morning, you're live.
Good morning, Joseph. How are you this morning?
I am wonderful, sir.
Okay. Joseph, I am so happy about the budget. When I sit down and I hear Dr. Keith yesterday with the budget, I just smile, right? Now, if you know that there is so much hungry mouth people in Grenada, why don't you fix it? Why don't you fix it? You have $19 million and so much hungry mouth people, and you're not helping. Deacon was never a minister, neither a prime minister. But you want Deacon to take his money and feed the hungry mouth people in Grenada. Do you believe that is fair? I think Dr. Keith have to will and come again. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. 435-2041, that's the number on the inside. Let's talk the things Thursday. We go right back to the telephone lines. Classic, good morning, you're live.
Good morning, Joseph, and how are you?
I'm wonderful, thank you.
And thank you for all those beautiful Christmas songs you played last week and yesterday. It was very beautiful.
You're welcome.
I enjoy all three. I call the hospital and ask them to put me on the X-ray department. You know the answer I get, Joseph? It's not sounding nice. We're not taking in outside patient. Who is outside patient? If you're sick, you're a patient. You don't have to be in the hospital to be a patient. They're not taking us. Say, what would we do if you have a problem and you can't get the X-ray to know what is happening to you? What's going to happen to you? They say go to private doctor. Is private doctors have X-ray rooms to do X-rays? Do they know everything about it?
So let me make sure I understand. You called the general hospital, our general hospital, to get an X-ray, and the response was that they were not accepting outside patients.
That's what they said. They are not taking in any outside patient. But who are the patients they're taking in? Who are the patients they're attending to? You are a patient, not out to hospitalized to be a patient. If you're sick and you have a health problem, you are a patient. They say go to a private doctor. When you go to a private doctor, will you have to pay for it? Yes, you have to pay. We know we have to pay for it, whether we go to the hospital, the government or not, we still have to pay.
Correct.
But you're going to pay something less. They'll have to go to the private. They will charge you more because they do it on their own. Now, if they don't have the X-ray things to do the X-ray, how could they do you? How could they know what is happening to you? You may just stay in your house and die because the people in Grenada, this government Grenada people is not taking care of their patients. When you go to the doctor, you go to the health center, the medication in the government pharmacies, they don't have it at all. You always have to keep buying all the time because you don't have money, you're not working away, but you have to go and get it. We don't have this one, you have to buy this one. I go to the health center, I have to get medication on my site. One medication they give in the health center for the site, the special, the most important one, they never will. Yes, they're not giving that Alphagan. It's a very expensive medication for your site. And you don't have that Alphagan medication to use, your site is gone. The Timotal that they give us sometime, a little bottle doesn't have about your little finger in it, you have for full. When you that finish, they don't have. You have to buy. You still have to keep buying and buying. Help the poor people that need. You go there, these people that need, they want to go there, they want their body, they want their health. They could go to private, they have money. You have those who have no money at all, they cannot help themselves. So the government, they want to help the poor people, the senior citizens that need help. Give a helping hand to them. They need help. They can't help them. They're not walking away again, but they want to live and be in the world. So when you have a problem and you go to the health center, then when you're going for the help from the government and you're not getting the medication, we don't have this one, you have to buy one.
Well, I do promise you what I'm going to do for because that's just rather interesting. Because the service at the health center, as you said, you have to, it's a paid service. And I can't see any reason, unless there is some other underlying reason as to why they're not seeing patients. I'm not sure if it's a case that they're overwhelmed, COVID protocol, but it would be interesting. I'll try to get some feedback as to exactly what the situation could be that would warrant such a response, okay?
Okay, thanks a lot. Do something about it because I want to do the X-ray and I can't go to private because I don't have the money. I'm an old person, I'm 85 years old, and if I need help, I need to go to the government for help.
I understand.
The senior citizens.
And I agree 100%.
Help those who cannot help themselves. That's what the law said, help those who cannot help themselves.
So
okay?
I will definitely make some calls and provide some feedback to you via the airwaves.
Have a blessed darling.
Take care. All the best to you. It is 23 minutes on to the hour in the morning time. Classic 105.5, 105.9. Talk the Things Thursday. We're looking at the budget presentation. Just some highlights from it. Additional, Mr. Speaker, with the rise in the price of fuel expected to continue, a reduction of 25% on the non-fuel charge per kilowatt will be instituted for all categories of consumers. These changes will take place effective your next billing cycle. That's coming straight out of the budget. According to today's presentation by the Finance Minister, the slump in supply and consumption at the height of the pandemic triggered increased cost of fuel in recent months. Motorists have paid more at the pumps. Government will implement a cap of $15 per gallon on gasoline and diesel, effective when the next petroleum price change is announced on December 8th. Additionally, coming out of the budget presentation from the minister, who said, notwithstanding that VAT is already removed on most basic food items such as rice, flour, sugar, bread, ground provision, vegetables, and fish, government will exempt VAT on an additional 5 items effective January 2022. Those items are saltfish, turkey parts, vegetable oil, cheddar cheese, and split peas. Just some of the highlights from. What say you? Excited about it? Or you think otherwise? Classic, good morning. 21 minutes on to the hour.
Good morning, Joe.
Good morning to you, sir.
Joe, you keep saying, even a while ago, there is 23 days remaining for Christmas. You cannot count Christmas Day as a day to Christmas. It's 22 days remaining before Christmas. The 23 days is Christmas, so you can't take Christmas Day as a day before Christmas.
And if I did, I accept your observation, sir. That's not a problem on my part.
Okay, thank you.
435-2041. We continue the countdown towards Christmas. What's your thoughts? What is your thoughts this morning? Annette Robertson says, I tasted the people. The people that need are the ones. Okay, Mikey, you missed me at that one, Mikey. Thank you. Yeah, Mikey. I'm going to get back. I'm going to get back to that. But certainly, let me just see what's happening while I wait on Mike. Let me see if there's anything that's happening via my social, well, on, let's see, on WhatsApp. This person says the budget debate by the Prime Minister should open Grenadians' eyes. A 75-year-old Prime Minister serving for almost 30 years, feeding hungry mud Grenadians? He could spend 50 million in a rum shop. Oh, what a very sad state that we've become. How our people are branded, and it's time where we hungry mud Grenadians show the belly full politicians. This handout by our tax money is not free. Grenadians, stop making these people reduce you to the lowest. How the world is laughing at those 15-0. Interesting. Malvin Kuda says, I'm calling on GBN to go out in the community and find out how people doing if they're making money. And that is an interesting observation. And while we say that, we continue to hear the appeal that the government is doing so much more in terms of the seed program. But the question that we have to that begs to be asked, if government has to expend more on the marginalized and those seed programs, does that really represent? And that's the honest question. If you have to spend more on those safety net programs, have you ever stopped to think what really the situation is? Do I have to spell it for you? Or is it coming, or is a picture being painted for you this morning? We're keeping our eyes on the clock. It is 18 minutes onto the hour, but we have to take a quick commercial break, pay some bills, and we'll be right back on Talk to Things Thursday, right here on Classic and GBN Television in the morning time.
Spare your pocket, spare the earth, always act when let you come first. Save energy, save our time, we choose your wattage and we choose your time. When you use appliances, make sure you buy energy efficient every time. Spare your pocket, spare the earth, always act when let you come first. Spare your pocket, spare the earth, always act when let you come first.
Introducing YouTube and TikTok to the Digicel Prime Bundle. Now get 1 GB daily to enjoy more YouTube. Plus 1 GB daily to like more TikTok videos. It's simply more entertainment bundled together. Get a 7-day bundle for $35 in my Digicel. More apps, more data, more fun. Digicel, better together.
Ultratech gasoline and diesel, available only at Rubis stations.
Let's get tough on breed your larceny. It will destroy our economy. Larceny threatens our food security. Can hurt us locally, hurt us globally. To all the buyers, ask for license from all produce sellers. To all the people, 300 for police for them thieving fellas. To all the farmers, don't steal produce from your brother. Then you're selling to traffickers, hotels and street vendors. Nah, man. Let's do all we can to stop radio larceny. New vigilance, new laws, and a tough judiciary. Stop Grenada's organized business crime. It's time.
To report pre-deal larceny, call 300.
Times are hard, and your vehicle is your investment. Let it work for you. Get a wheel alignment from Premium Auto Services and enjoy greater fuel efficiency, smoother ride, improved steering, reduced repairs, and longer-lasting tires. Make that call today, 439-4000, or just visit them on the Calavini Main Road. Don't forget to ask about their 20% special discount on all new tires. Premium Auto Services, your one-star auto repair center.
Understanding. We do have to behave like that. If we have to mention, I think we could do it in a decent way. And if we hungry, my people, we do have to hungry to eat, isn't it? We all have to hungry to eat. But at the same time, we could say there's fortunate people out there as the government to look after them, and such is the case. It's not everybody, Mr. Joseph, when they get the little pension. The rich get need, because sometimes they pay their bill, they buy a gas, and sometimes they cannot buy food. I hear a lot of people complain. I am nothing worried about it because I don't have no little children. All my children get big, but I hear a lot of people complain about their means, and I say, Lord, there's something I have to do about that, because sometimes June, especially when they get it the 25th, June the month they have nothing at all. So, I mean, you have some of us, we have, and we're not stretching hard, but God wants to vex with us because everybody cannot be fortunate in this world. And we fail to realize that.
I'm with you. I understand your concern. I guess just as human beings, we all express ourselves differently. So nothing. I don't think it's anything to lose sleep over. But I understand. I understand your point.
Yes.
Okay. Have a great day.
A blessed day. You too.
Take care.
Yes.
435-2041. Who created hungry white people when so much people depend on handouts? Just asking. Wow, that's going to become a topic of conversation. Going back to the budget, there's been an increase of $150 per household for beneficiaries of the seed program. Now, effective 2022, these additional benefits exclude those added temporarily as part of the stimulus package, and we see what is that is needed. Question continues to be, with all of these increases that you're seeing in the seed program intended to attend to the needs of persons that are below the economic level. What does it mean? If there are more people are dependent on the seed program, does it mean that we're moving up economically? Or does it reflect the fact that more people are becoming more vulnerable? 435-2041, that's the number on the inside. We have about 5 minutes left in this morning's conversation. It's about 12 minutes onto the hour. A lot is going to be, and this debate conversation is going to continue. I just want to encourage folks to do what you can. Let's just go back to the telephone line. Classic, good morning.
Good morning, Joseph.
Yes, good morning to you, sir.
There is a saying that pressure does burst pipe. And it is just one of my categorization of the 2022 budget. Some of the statements I've heard coming from those ministers, some of the measures that have been implemented, I could only say that pressure burst pipe. Additionally, I heard a news item on GBN last night where the Prime Minister was alluding to the fact that he has spoken to the Commissioner of Police to ensure that more women is added to the force. I don't know if Grenadians have any memory, but the Prime Minister, the present Prime Minister, has been National Security Minister from the time his party has attained office in Grenada. That is 20-something plus years now. Now that he's on his dying bed, he's seeing the need, among other things, to bring forward to the fore. Pressure really burst pipe. Have a good morning.
Thank you. All the best to you, sir. 452041. Looking again at the budget presentation on the women's empowerment. And one of the major initiatives in this regard is the grant supporting the Grenada Spotlight Initiative project, funded by the United Nations Fund and the other UN organizations. This initiative will contribute to the full implementation of the Grenada's gender equality policy and action plan to strengthen intervention to combat family violence. A sum of EC $308 million is budgeted for the continuation of this project. And I think, and that certainly, he says, Mr. Speaker, Grenada, through the Attorney General Chambers, has drafted a sexual offenders registry bill for consultation. Government is moving, Mr. Speaker, to adopt a gender-responsive budgeting approach, starting with a pilot in 2022, in the 2022 budget. I think this is one of the initiatives, yes, that I applaud coming out of the budget. Anything that would look to strengthen our institutions that deals with issues of violence against women and our girls. But yes, it's not just about the budget though. It's not just about the dollars. It's about the changing of our culture and our attitude. What we teach our children, what we teach our boys, what we teach our girls. But something good at least. That is something I am smiling about. Classic, good morning, you're alive.
Good morning, Joe.
Good morning to you, sir.
You mentioned something there which is quite interesting about gender. What is that? Gender equality.
Gender equality.
Yeah, but I don't know if you recall, if you jog your memory, when it was reported that allegedly a senator assaulted a woman at the compound of the parliament, and those other women stood there. But when it comes to people standing up and ensuring that the rights of women, even the women are not supporting the women. So what are we really doing? We need to not just say things in this country, but put proper structures in place and follow up on them. Have a good day, Joe.
Thank you, sir. And that's why I was very particular to say that while the $3.8 million would suffice to do whatever it has to do, certainly needs to take a change of culture, how we think, how we react to each other. We need to be closer as a people. It seems as though we've gotten to the point where we're so driven by our own motives, our own intentions. We become so self-centered that no longer do we feel the pain. And that needs to be reintroduced into our society, where we're closer, we feel as a family. How do we train our boys? How do we train our girls? Should they become more independent, more assertive? Do we train them that they need to depend on a male figure to take care of them? No. Do we train our boys that, listen, because you're a male, you're not supposed to cry and you lash out in society? No. Those are some of the things that actually needs to change. But we're keeping our eyes on the clock. It is 7 minutes onto the hour in the morning time. Let me just see what's happening on Let's check WhatsApp while I am at it. This contributor says, if the government is serious about nation building, the conversation should be about how much people that have been taken off the seed program. If you're boasting about how much people you're added, it means more people are impoverished. We need to open our eyes. And that is as true as the gospel as it is. This contributor says, good morning. My name gave his name from St. Patrick. My electricity bill is very high. It moved from 100 and something to 300 and something. And that is a cry that you hear. It's a constant cry that you hear. There was something in the presentation though that spoke to the captain. Let me see if I can just get to it. As to how many individuals would benefit from it directly. It came almost to the end of the I've seen it already, but I know it's somewhere in there. The capping, right. So it says, in other words, Mr. Speaker, domestic consumers up to a maximum of 500 kilowatts per month will be relieved of government charges on their electricity bill. And it continues to say there's going to be a 25% reduction in the non-fuel charge, and certainly non-fuel charge, because the fuel charges, there's nothing that government can do to influence that. So let's wait until the next billing cycle and let's see exactly what happens. And good morning to the bus drivers. Good news coming for you as of the next petroleum price change, which comes on the 18th of the month. So we continue to look to see what's happening. The gasoline and diesel will be capped at $15 per gallon. Great news. Let's see. But in the midst of it, folks, I probably just have time to take this final caller. Classic, good morning, you're live.
Hello?
Yes, good morning, caller, you're live. 435-2041. Hello. 5 minutes onto the hour in the morning time, and let me just browse through on social media, Mike. If one pays attention to the rollout of the budget, you would realize that the budget is more of repairing damages and not advancing progress. Put aside your business and think wisely. Yes, thank you, Mike. That's where we were with this one. Good morning. You need. This person says, I'm trying to see JC treason up. You have to. Okay. Did anyone tell? This person says, did anyone tell Minister Thomas? Okay. Well, I'm not necessarily going to participate in saying. And there's some things, okay, you may have, let's go. After election, they will have to pay for all of the governments that is given out now. Nothing is free after election. And that is true. The same he's cutting back now will be taken right back and more. You have nothing. There's nothing free from the government, and that is actually true. That is totally true, and not just from the government. There's nothing actually free in life. Somebody has to cover the tab. It may not be you. So the question has to be: if the government is giving that much out now, where is it coming from? Who is paying the bill? Is it an advance payment you're getting, or is somebody covering it? And that's what we need to become more industrious. We need to become more independent and become less dependent on government. And that's one of the challenge. Yes, I know government has its role to play, but I want to just encourage each and every one as Grenadians. Let's do more to become more independent and take care of our own business. It is 3 minutes on to the hour in the morning time. This is where we leave the conversation for now. It's Talk the Things Thursday. Good morning, Grenada. Indeed, it was a pleasure being here with you. I'll be back with you in television at 9 o'clock, where we'll be talking about food and nutrition, eating healthy during the COVID period. Christmas is on its way. What are some of the tips? Let's look at what we can do to help ourselves. At the top of the hour, we join the BBC for a bulletin of news. Until then, Grenada, so long. Continue to take care of yourself and be good. JC loves you. I am out of here.